The emergency klaxons aboard the ISS Arcturus shattered the routine of deep space patrol. Commander Jenna Harrison rushed to the bridge, her boots echoing through the corridors of humanity's most advanced defensive vessel. The ship's AI projected a holographic display showing an unknown vessel materializing just outside their sensor range. Unknown contact bearing 035, reported Lieutenant Rajpedal from his tactical station. Configuration doesn't match any known design in our database. It's massive, Commander. The vessel that appeared on their screens defied conventional engineering. Its hull seemed to flow like liquid metal, with geometric patterns pulsing with an inner light that shifted through colors no human eye had seen before. But what caught Harrison's attention were the massive wounds torn into its side. This ship had been in battle. Life signs, Harrison demanded, studying the vessel's erratic movement pattern. Thousands, ma'am, replied Dr. Isabella Torres, the ship's xenobiologist. But they're fading. Whatever that ship's been through, its life support systems are failing. Before Harrison could respond, a transmission cut through their communications array. The voice that emerged was unlike anything human ears had ever heard, a harmony of multiple tones speaking perfect English. This is High Guardian Veller of the Lyrian Ark ship Starweaver. We seek sanctuary. We are the last of our kind. Please, help us. Harrison exchanged glances with her bridge crew. First contact scenarios had been drilled into them countless times, but nothing had prepared them for this. This is Commander Jenna Harrison of the Earth intersolar ship Arcturus. Please explain your situation, High Guardian. The image that appeared on their view screen caused several crew members to gasp. The beam before them was humanoid, but that's where similarities ended. Its form seemed to shift between solid and liquid, with crystalline structures emerging and receding through its translucent body. Multiple sets of eyes arranged in geometric patterns studied them with an intelligence that felt ancient. We are refugees, Veller explained, his form rippling with what Harrison recognized as exhaustion. The Dominion. They discovered our worlds 3 cycles ago. They demanded our bioengineering secrets, our ability to merge consciousness with technology. When we refused, they began systematically destroying our civilization. The tactical display suddenly lit up with new contacts. Lieutenant Patel's hands flew across his console. Commander, multiple quantum ruptures detected. 7. No, 12 vessels emerging. The ships that appeared were nothing like the Lyrian vessel. Where the Starweaver was organic and flowing, these were angular and aggressive, bristling with weapons arrays that pulsed with ominous energy. The Dominion has found us. Veller's voice carried resignation. Commander Harrison, we understand if you choose not to involve your people in our war. We only ask that you allow us to send you our database before we face our end. Perhaps some part of our civilization might survive through your people. Harrison stood from her command chair, her decision already made. Area, battle stations, shield harmonics to maximum. Lieutenant Patel, target those vessels. Dr. Torres, begin emergency docking procedures for the Starweaver. Commander, her first officer, Thomas Weber, stepped closer. The Admiralty's standing orders for first contact are superseded by basic human decency, Harrison finished. I won't stand by and watch genocide, Thomas. Not today. Not ever. The Dominion ships moved into attack formation, their weapons charging. A new transmission cut through their comms. This is Executor Krell of the Dominion fleet. The species you harbor are fugitives from justice. Stand aside or be destroyed. Harrison's response was measured but firm. This is Commander Harrison of Earth. The Lyrian people are under our protection. Any hostile action against them will be considered an act of war against humanity. Your move, Executor. As the Arcturus's weapons came online and its fighter squadrons deployed, Harrison knew she had just committed humanity to a conflict that would change their civilization forever. But looking at the grateful expression on Veller's face, she also knew it was the right choice. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of the Lyrian refugees, but potentially the course of human history. As her crew prepared for battle, Harrison remembered an old Earth saying, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing." Today, humanity would do something. Whether it would be enough remained to be seen, but they would face whatever came next standing together with their new allies. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as two civilizations united in defiance of extinction itself. The United Earth Defense Council chamber buzzed with tension as holographic displays showed the aftermath of the Arcturus incident. Commander Harrison stood before the assembled leaders, her uniform pristine despite having just arrived from the front lines. Behind her, High Guardian Veller's crystalline form shifted nervously, casting prismatic patterns across the chamber walls. "You committed Earth to a potential interstellar war without authorization." Commander, Admiral Diana Wellington's voice cut through the murmurs. "That's a court-martial offense." "With respect, Admiral," Harrison replied, her voice steady. "I committed Earth to preventing genocide. The Arcturus's black box data confirms everything the Lyrians have told us about the Dominion's actions." Dr. Rashid Karim, Earth's leading genotechnologist, stepped forward. His dark eyes sparkled with barely contained excitement as he manipulated a holographic display. "The Lyrian technological database they shared is extraordinary. Their bioengineering capabilities are centuries beyond ours. The medical applications alone could be our downfall," interrupted General Marcus Rhodes, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused on Veller. "How do we know this isn't an elaborate trap? The Dominion claims the Lyrians are dangerous." Veller's form crystallized slightly. What Harrison had learned was their equivalent of standing straighter. "The Dominion claims many things, General. They claimed our outer colonies were military installations before destroying them. They claimed our children were biological weapons before." His voice faltered, multiple eyes dimming with grief. The chamber doors burst open as Lieutenant Patel rushed in, his dark face flushed. Multiple quantum ruptures detected in the Kuiper belt. "The Dominion fleet. It's 3 times larger than our initial estimates." The holographic displays shifted, showing dozens of Dominion warships emerging from quantum space. Their angular forms blocked out the stars themselves as they moved into attack formation. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," announced Admiral Wellington's aide. The image of Executor Krell appeared above the council table. Unlike the flowing beauty of Lyrian biology, the Executor's form was a testament to militant efficiency. Cybernetic augmentations covered most of his corpse-gray skin, and his eyes gleamed with artificial light. "People of Earth," his voice was somehow both mechanical and contemptuous, "your interference in Dominion justice is noted. Surrender the Lyrian fugitives within 1 standard rotation, or we will demonstrate why resistance against the Dominion is futile." As the transmission cut off, chaos erupted in the chamber, but amid the shouting, Dr. Karim's voice suddenly cut through. "We can fight them." All eyes turned to the scientist as he manipulated his holographic display. "The Lyrian biotechnology, it's not just medical. They're organic computers, they're living ships. If we combine their biological engineering with our quantum mechanics." High Guardian Veller's form rippled with interest. "Yes, yes. Your species' grasp of particle physics, combined with our biological interfaces, we could create defenses the Dominion has never encountered." Commander Harrison stepped forward. "The Arcturus's shields held against their initial attack because they couldn't adapt to our quantum frequency modulation. If we add Lyrian bioadaptive systems, we'd need time," Dr. Karim cautioned. "Weeks at minimum to implement even basic integrations." "Time we don't have," General Rhodes growled. Admiral Wellington stood, her weathered face set with determination. "Then we buy time. Commander Harrison, you've already proven you can bloody their nose. Think you can do it again?" Harrison's smile was fierce. "The Arcturus was designed to handle odds like these, Admiral. And now we know what we're up against." "I will share all tactical data we have on Dominion warfare patterns," Veller offered. Their cybernetic nature makes them predictable. They rely on overwhelming force because they've never needed anything else. Until now, Harrison finished. The next hours were a blur of activity, as Dr. Karim and a team of human scientists worked with Lyrian engineers to begin integrating their technologies. The Earth Defense Fleet mobilized. The Arcturus would lead a delaying action, using hit-and-run tactics to keep the Dominion fleet occupied, while Earth's colonies were fortified. In orbit around Mars, massive fabrication ships began constructing new defensive platforms using hybrid human-Lyrian designs. The platforms looked almost organic, their surfaces rippling with biomechanical energy fields that could adapt to enemy attacks. Commander Harrison stood on the Arcturus's bridge once more, watching her crew work seamlessly with their new Lyrian allies. Lieutenant Patel had already integrated their tactical data into his targeting systems, while Dr. Torres worked to optimize their shield harmonics using Lyrian biological principles. The Dominion believes strength lies in uniformity, Viller observed, his crystalline form reflecting the starlight. They cannot comprehend why a species would risk everything to help another. Then they've already lost, Harrison replied, because they'll never understand that true strength lies in diversity, in adaptation, in choosing to stand together even when it would be easier to stand aside. The tactical display showed the Dominion fleet approaching. They would reach engagement range in less than an hour. Humanity's first major interstellar war was about to begin, not for territory or resources, but for the simple principle that genocide could not be allowed to succeed. As Harrison gave orders to prepare for battle, she knew that win or lose, this moment would be remembered. This was when humanity proved that compassion wasn't weakness, that standing against evil wasn't foolish, and that sometimes the greatest victories came not from fighting alone, but from choosing to fight alongside others. The stars seemed to shine brighter as two civilizations united in defiance of tyranny, preparing to show the galaxy that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe was simply the choice to do what was right, no matter the cost. The first shots of the war weren't fired with conventional weapons. As the Dominion fleet approached Earth's outer defense perimeter, they encountered something unprecedented. A cloud of microscopic biomechanical satellites, each one containing both human quantum technology and Lyrian organic computing. Captain Sophia Rice watched from the bridge of the newly retrofitted ISS Hyperion as the Dominion ships plowed straight into the cloud. They're not even trying to avoid it, she noted, her brown eyes narrowed. Arrogance or ignorance? Both, answered Guardian Tactician Nexar, her Lyrian weapons officer. The crystalline being's form pulsed with anticipation. The Dominion believes their cyber warfare systems are unmatched. The cloud enveloped the lead Dominion vessels. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then multiple ships suddenly went dark, their engines sputtering as the hybrid satellites interfaced with their systems. The bioquantum network had done exactly what Dr. Karim theorized. It bypassed their cybernetic defenses by speaking to their computers in a language they'd never encountered. First wave successful, Nexa reported. Their automated systems are compromised. Estimate 30% of their fleet is temporarily disabled. But the Dominion hadn't become the galaxy's dominant power through weakness. The remaining ships immediately adapted, their energy shields shifting to new frequencies as they launched salvos of quantum-tipped missiles. All vessels, execute Pattern Delta, Rice commanded. The human Lyrian fleet moved with practiced precision, their hybrid ships demonstrating maneuvers that would have been impossible just weeks ago. The Hyperion's bio-enhanced hull flexed and rippled, allowing it to turn at angles that defied conventional physics. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies for centuries. The Dominion's superior numbers and raw firepower met an enemy that refused to fight according to conventional rules. Human tactical improvisation, combined with Lyrian biological adaptation, created a defense that seemed to evolve minute by minute. But victory came with a price. IS Challenger is hit. Lieutenant Maria Santos reported, her hands flying over her tactical console. Their bioshields are failing. Rise watched in horror as one of Earth's newest hybrid cruisers took a direct hit from a Dominion capital ship. The vessel's organic components tried to heal the damage, but the quantum-enhanced plasma had burned too deep. "Challenger, abandon ship," she ordered, even as the Hyperion moved to provide covering fire. The evacuation pods launched just moments before the cruiser exploded, its death releasing a burst of bioquantum energy that temporarily disrupted nearby space. Multiple Dominion reinforcements detecting, Nexar announced, their crystalline form dimming slightly. "They're adapting to our tactics faster than anticipated." On the main viewer, Executor Krell's flagship emerged from quantum space. It was massive, easily twice the size of the Hyperion, its hull bristling with weapons that seemed designed specifically to counter their hybrid technology. "Your resistance is both futile and illogical." Krell's transmission cut through their communications. "You fight for a species that means nothing to you, sacrificing lives for aliens you barely know. Surrender now, and we may yet show mercy." Ray stood from her command chair, her voice steady as she responded. "You still don't understand us, Executor. We fight because it's right. We fight because every species deserves the chance to live free from tyranny. And we fight because if we don't stop you here, you'll never stop at all." The battle resumed with renewed intensity. The Hyperion's bioquantum weapons struck true, causing unprecedented damage to Dominion vessels, but their enemies' numerical superiority began to tell. One by one, Earth's outer defense platforms fell. "Captain," Santos called out. "Transmission from Earth Command. Dr. Karim reports the new defense system is only at 60% completion. They need more time." Rays exchanged glances with Nexar. The Lyrian's multiple eyes met hers with understanding. They both knew what had to be done. "All vessels, fall back to secondary positions," she ordered. "Hyperion will cover the retreat." "Captain," her first officer protested, "against those odds." "The odds are what we make them, Commander." She turned to Nexar. "Guardian Tactician, remember that theoretical modification we discussed. The one that might allow us to temporarily merge our hybrid systems with a quantum singularity." Nexar's form brightened with realization. It was never tested. The power requirements alone could tear the ship apart. "Better us than Earth." Rise opened a channel to all hands. "All non-essential personnel to evacuation stations. What we're about to attempt. I can't order anyone to stay." Not a single crew member left their post. As the rest of the fleet retreated in good order, the Hyperion turned to face the oncoming Dominion armada. Its hybrid hull began to pulse with unprecedented energy as Nexar initiated the experimental protocol. The ship's bioquantum core interfaced directly with the fabric of spacetime itself. What followed would be remembered as the Battle of Neptune's orbit, where a single ship held off an alien armada long enough for Earth to prepare its defenses. The Hyperion's sacrifice would become legend, but as Captain Reyes gave the order that would change the course of the war, she knew only that she was doing what humanity had always done, standing against impossible odds because it was the right thing to do. The stars themselves seemed to dim as the Hyperion unleashed its final gambit, proving that the price of compassion was one humanity was willing to pay again and again, until the galaxy learned that some principles were worth any cost. 3 months after the Battle of Neptune's orbit, the Lunar Research Facility, Unity Base, hummed with unprecedented activity. Dr. Karim stood before a massive bioquantum display, watching as human and Lyrian scientists worked side by side. The sacrifice of the Hyperion had bought them precious time, and they had used it well. "The integration is stable," announced Dr. Victoria Nash, her weathered hands manipulating a strand of what appeared to be living light. "The human nervous system accepts the Lyrian neural interface without rejection." Beside her, Master Architect Zena's crystalline form pulsed with excitement. The Lyrian scientist had been working tirelessly to adapt their biotechnology for human use. "The quantum resonance patterns match perfectly. Your species' neural plasticity is remarkable." In the testing chamber below, Commander Harrison underwent the final calibration of her neural interface. Since surviving the Arcturus's last stand, she had volunteered to be the first human to fully merge with Lyrian biotechnology. The crystalline implants along her spine glowed softly as they synchronized with her nervous system. Neural link at 100%, Harrison reported, her eyes now containing subtle geometric patterns similar to Lyrian visual organs. I can feel the ship. The prototype vessel in the chamber with her was unlike anything either species had created before. Not merely a hybrid of technologies, it represented a true evolutionary leap. The ship's living hull responded to Harrison's thoughts, its surface rippling and reshaping itself as she learned to control it. The Dominion won't expect this, High Guardian Viller observed from his position near Dr. Karim. They believe they drove us back at Neptune. They don't realize they gave us exactly what we needed, data on their tactical capabilities and time to evolve beyond them. A holographic display showed the current situation. The Dominion had established a blockade at the edge of the solar system, clearly preparing for what they thought would be a final push toward Earth. Their ships had adapted to the previous hybrid technology, incorporating countermeasures against known human Lyrian capabilities. But what waited for them was something entirely new. Operation Prometheus is ready, announced Admiral Wellington as she entered the chamber. The first fleet of evolved ships is complete. Now we need to determine if our offensive strategy will work. Dr. Karim brought up a detailed scan of Dominion space. Their empire is vast, but highly centralized. All their cybernetic systems are ultimately connected to their core worlds. If we can reach their central command node, we can introduce our bioquantum virus directly into their network, finished Dr. Nash. The same viral code that allowed Captain Reyes to temporarily disrupt their fleet could be used to free every enslaved world in their empire. Harrison's voice carried new harmonics as she spoke through her neural interface. The prototype responds better than we hoped. These ships aren't just weapons. They're a bridge between our species. The Dominion couldn't comprehend why humans would fight for the Lyrians. Now we're becoming something greater together. The prototype vessel demonstrated her words, its hull shifting through configurations that should have been impossible, its bioquantum systems operating at levels that exceeded all projections. The merger of human consciousness with Lyrian biotechnology had created something unprecedented, a ship that was truly alive, guided by the best aspects of both species. All teams report similar success rates, Admiral Wellington noted, reviewing data from other testing facilities. The neural interfaces are stable across all volunteers. The evolved fleet will be ready ahead of schedule. But it was Dr. Karim who asked the question they'd all been avoiding. Are we ready for what this means? We're not just fighting the Dominion anymore. We're taking the first steps toward becoming a truly post-human civilization. Harrison answered as she guided her ship through another series of impossible maneuvers. We're not losing our humanity, Doctor. We're expanding it. The Dominion tried to force evolution through cybernetic dominance. We're achieving it through cooperation, through choice, through understanding that difference isn't weakness, it's strength. The assembled leaders watched as more prototype vessels entered their final testing phase. Each one represented a perfect synthesis of human and Lyrian potential, guided by pilots who had volunteered to be. Executor Krell is broadcasting, announced Guardian Tactician Nexar, now permanently integrated into the Genesis's living systems. The Executor's image appeared, his cybernetic implants crackling with barely contained rage. What abomination have you become? This violation of natural order cannot be allowed. Harrison's response carried the harmonized voices of both her human identity and her ship self. You never understood, Krell. Evolution isn't about replacing what we are. It's about becoming more than we were. Through choice, through cooperation, through understanding. The battle that followed would reshape galactic civilization. The evolved fleet's bioquantum weapons bypassed the Dominion's most sophisticated defenses, their living hulls adapting faster than the enemy's cybernetic systems could compute. But the true victory came from within. Bioquantum virus deployed. Dr. Nash's voice reported from Earth Command. Initiating system-wide upload. Through the neural network connecting the evolved fleet, Harrison felt the moment the virus took hold. Across Dominion space, their cybernetic control systems began to fail. Not through destruction, but through transformation. The same viral code that had allowed humans to interface with Lyrian biotechnology now offered the Dominion's enslaved populations a choice. On countless worlds, cybernetic implants designed for control became gateways to freedom. Species that had been subjugated for generations suddenly found their neural chains transformed into neural bridges, connections that could be accepted or rejected by choice. Their network is collapsing, Santos reported. Grid by grid, world by world, they're choosing to be free. Executor Krell's flagship launched a desperate assault on the Genesis, but Harrison had evolved beyond such simple tactics. The evolved ship's hull parted like liquid crystal, allowing the enemy's weapons to pass harmlessly through before reforming. The maneuver brought them within point-blank range. Your empire was built on the belief that mechanical perfection was the ultimate goal, Harrison transmitted as the Genesis's weapons locked on. But true perfection isn't about eliminating differences. It's about finding strength in them. Surrender, Executor. Be part of the change instead of ending with the old order. For a moment, the fate of galaxies hung in the balance. Then, across the Dominion's network, acceptance began to spread. The virus offered connection without control, strength without submission, evolution without loss of self. One by one, their ships stood down. The aftermath would take years to fully unfold. The evolved fleet became the cornerstone of a new interstellar alliance, with Earth and the surviving Lyrians helping former Dominion worlds transition to independence. The bioquantum technology that had won the war now served to heal, to build, to connect. Commander Harrison stood in Unity Base's observation dome, her enhanced vision taking in the transformed lunar surface. Where once there had been sterile research facilities, now living crystal structures pulsed with the combined achievements of human and Lyrian science. Ships of the evolved fleet docked nearby, their crews representing dozens of species choosing to follow the path of cooperative evolution. "We did more than save your people," she said to High Guardian Viller as he approached. "We changed the very definition of what people can become." Veller's crystalline form resonated with agreement. The Dominion sought to perfect the galaxy by making everyone the same. Humanity showed us a better way. That true perfection lies in celebrating our differences while finding new ways to grow together. As Earth's sun set behind the lunar horizon, its light caught the crystalline structures of Unity Base, creating a rainbow of possibilities across the dome. The legacy of humanity's choice to stand with a dying species had become something greater than either civilization could have imagined alone. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new potential as the galaxy entered an age of voluntary evolution, built not on conquest or conformity, but on the simple yet profound truth that the greatest strength comes not from standing alone, but from choosing to stand together.